제가 보인다. 아침 좋은 제가 뺐는 제가 뺐.
아무나 마셔 봐도 뭐 꼽자도 아무나. 저번에도 꼽자야. 쉬나?
네, 쉬나 쉬. 아니 제가 너무 편한 앞에.
If you're here for the kids program, you can head on out. We'll start the kids program now.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's the weather outside today? Nice. Nice? Yes. I feel a little cold.
Time to go to India.
Yeah. My body said, okay, no more. Yeah, that's not good. True. 통단이라 샤워니 있어. 아니 도마깡 같이 뭐다 아니 주도다 뭐가 제일 그래서.
So just like we always say that in Buddhism it is very important to have two things, one at the beginning and one at the end. So having a very proper motivation at the beginning and dedicating properly at the end is very important.
아니 담보 끊어 계셔서 끊어도 가려고 그러세요. 나 아니 생체 탐주인데 가는 거 양도 보도록 선제 고보도 샤 디리체도 아니 하는 게 딱 강경지야 양내지야 로종샤 가르쳐야 되는 게 예는 삼백 그렇게 그래서.
And so the motivation that is very important in the beginning. So what sort of motivation you should have is that whenever you're doing practice or any kind of meditation and so forth, you should always think that I'm going to, or I must achieve state of full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to do this practice, I'm going to do this meditation and so forth. So you should always do that kind of motivation.
아니 제가 남의 취사야 돼. 지금도 실로그 지금 도로 강당당 지금 그거 남절 당당당 아니 들리지 말아야지. 또샘 샘을 또 삼아 방법을 말이야지.
So and the practice of Buddhism or Buddha's teaching is not to do with the way you wear clothes or the way you show your appearance and so forth. It's mainly to do with your mind.
아니 지금 아니 샘 간에지 방도는 아니 지금 가서 개발라 통마에 가야 그래서 개발라 통마에 가니까 딱 걔네 담배가 가지나 가서 잘들만 짜야 되는 거 그래서.
And so what we should think, with our mind, is that there's no beginning, to our birth. So we have had many kind of life or births in the past. So we came along with these different kind of lives or births with all these sorts of problems.
들리면 딱 강해 지금 그디나 잠을 좀 먹어야 어떻게 가르치는 거는 딱 제대로 깨나 주는 거예요.
And so throughout all these lives, we have faced so many different kind of problems, and all these problems, and where do they come from? So these problems that we face or experience come from their causes and conditions.
원하들이 제대로 깨서 간다이래. 제대로 깨 상에도 소리 써야나. 다 말로 소소소라 반죽고 그래서.
So what are the causes and conditions, and who are the people who created these causes and conditions? That it is ourselves, and so we can only point to ourselves.
다 간소 간다이네 거는 나라서 샘대 그디는 유모원으로 그래서.
So how we create that, is like, for example, our mind is always under the control or always influenced by delusions.
근데 유모도 또
And the root of this delusion is the I, the mind, thinking I all the time. And so because we have this grasping or thinking of this I all the time, and through that we engage in the improper actions of the body, speech, and mind. So you know those improper or non-virtuous actions, right? So if you engage in any of these non-virtuous actions, then the result will be always suffering. And so what we should try to control, is try to control our mind, not to fall under the influence of the delusions, and ourselves not fall under the mind, under our minds. And so all these, the continuous of the sufferings that we go through experience, we are not able to stop it, not able to make stop to it. Since we don't know how to do that, therefore we should seek help from somebody who knows about it. So therefore we take refuge, just like we recite in the refuge in Buddhist prayers, and in the Buddha and Sangha, I take refuge in the enlightened and so forth. So generally, in order to practice, in order to study Dharma, Buddha Dharma, you don't have to take refuge. So by studying and contemplating in that way, if you can benefit yourself, then it's not necessary. You can take it, you can study and contemplate, but you don't have to be a Buddhist. So there are many different kinds of religions in this world, and so you can't say this is good or that is bad. Whichever is most beneficial for you, you just take that and practice. Just like all these different kinds of food, there are whichever fits you. You can just taste that. You can eat that. You don't have to eat all of it. You can eat whatever fits you. So so the purpose of eating food is that it fills the stomach, and as long as it does that, then that's good. And you cannot say this is good or that is bad. But as a Buddhist practitioner, you have to take refuge in the three jewels. So if you take refuge in the three jewels, then you get the help. You get the help of the things that you don't know, you are not aware of, and so because there's a benefit, so therefore you should take refuge in the three jewels. So you should think of these three jewels and think of their what they are, who they are, and what kind of qualities there are, and so forth. So you should know about those. And so whether you are valid or qualified or valid Buddhist or not depends on whether you take refuge or whether you have a valid refuge in your mind or not. And so in order to take refuge, you have to know the objects of refuges. So you have to know who you are taking refuge in.
아니 된지기 점으로 해야 됐다. 나도 괜히 나다. 남배가 지다 샤때 근데 망아진 걸 뭐 요래서 봐. 사실 주도 막 마치 요래죠.
So this practice of taking refuge and also generating bodhicitta is in most of the prayers that we do. In most of the prayers or practices that we do, it starts with taking refuge and generating bodhicitta.
사제 추당 소진 전을 승리보 되고 땅도 점으로 당겨요. 그래서 봐.
So the first two lines in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightened. So the first, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, so that shows the refuge.
근데 사제사가 사제 대양 담보데 그런 제에서 사지죠 막 담보 말아서 마시긴 받지. 아니 말아서 마시게 너무 영업 전쟁이지. 아니 삼로다 로종 체 냠내 거기다네 다 사제에서 차서만 말해서.
And so the Buddha in whom we take refuge wasn't a Buddha from beginning. He was also an ordinary being like ourselves, who was under the influence of the delusions. But through studying, contemplating, meditating, and so forth, then he freed himself from all these sufferings and all the delusions, all the obstructions, and become fully enlightened.
그래서 부다한테 가리나 부다 이해하다. 나도 가리나 semchen 이해와 되고 말이야. 나는 소소도 깔려잖아. 나도 자기 잘라야. Buddha Chayagi, seven years ago.
So therefore, Buddha wasn't Buddha from all the time, from beginning, and also like sentient beings don't remain sentient all the time. So if you study, practice, contemplate, and meditate, and practice properly, then you can also become Buddha, because every sentient being have the seed to become a Buddha.
된지가 간제 산제사데 준 그새 예된 끝나 된게 강사질라다 산제들라고 그래서.
So anyway, Buddha is a person who is free of all the who is free from all the false, all the non-virtues, the false, and who have completed all the quality, all the good and excellent qualities.
산제가 아니 위부에서 신청 말아봐 또네 강하게 냠네 강나셔 어디서 나도 말라랍샤자 그랬더라 아니 다 주스라고 그래서.
And so whatever practices he did and through which he gained enlightenment, and then he shares that experience with us. So that is called teaching, the Buddha's teaching.
아니 산제라는 것도 짭땡바보 옷이라고 그래서 짭땡에도 산제를 했어.
And so the Buddha, is the founder of the refuge. He's the one who shows the path to liberation.
그냥 나도 맹강도 나타 다시 챙이지 그래. 멤버이 와서 어떤 멤버 집방으로 그래서.
And so just like when we go to see a doctor, we go to a hospital, and then there is somebody who says, okay, you have this and that problem, and you have to do this and that to get rid of that, and so forth. So that person is called doctor. So Buddha is similar to doctor.
다 강고 강화성 샵에 아니 추서 다 전대비 주당 게되면 조조 추서야 돼. 아니 다 밥에 강사가 지지 다 나와서 냠내라 아니 추서라고 그래서.
And so then the Dharma, the teaching, usually there are two different kinds, the ultimate teaching and then the conventional teachings. So anyway, actual teaching is the practice of the three trainings within the continuum of the Arya or superior beings.
Arya 세대 단다가도 간지 나가서지 와 된지 나가서면 된데 별로 되게 시여 강수와다 맞춰 안에서 또 별로 jel라되면 강가절라 아야스 봐봐요.
And so the Arya, the superior being, is a being who have realized, who have realized that that the grasping, the I that we grasp at as existing from its one side, who have realized that that grasping is completely mistaken. So someone who have realized that directly is called superior being or Arya being.
다게 담봉하려다 나서야 돼. 거기가 강한 성화다 맞춰봐 또 별로 돼 말해봐 코스치 갑자기 자도 말해서.
And so this we have this mind grasping at the self as existing from its own side. So unless you develop the mind, which sees that the I does not exist from its own side as it appears to us, then you won't be able to get rid of the mind which thinks that I is existing from its own side. So even if we make 100,000 prostrations, thinking that may I not become angry, may I not become angry, that will not help to get rid of anger. And so you have to apply the proper antidote to overcome the anger, and that is by contemplating on the disadvantages of the anger and being patient, or enduring that suffering at that time is called is the way to overcome the anger. So if you if you think about the disadvantages, the false disadvantages of becoming angry, and while thinking about that, you'll never become angry. So it's important to think about that. So, for example, we're all very afraid of getting ticket, right? On our cars. So that's the reason why we're afraid of the ticket is because we think that if we get ticket, then it will cause harm to our wife. Of course. So what we're afraid of is afraid of having to pay the fine, right? We're not afraid of the paper that is sticking on your window, on your windshield, or the person who's giving it. We're afraid of the fine. Right? And so because we're afraid of that ticket, of the harm that's going to cause to our pockets, and therefore we don't we try very less not to get ticket. So by thinking about the results, we try not to create the cause. So in the same way, you should think about the disadvantages, the results, the bad results that we're going to experience, of creating the 10 adverse actions. And by thinking about that, then we'll not engage. We'll not engage in the 10 adverse actions. So anyway, the actual refuge, is the Dharma jewel. So and then just as I mentioned earlier, the Dharma, the actual Dharma, is the wisdom arising emptiness directly. And so the mind which thinks that the way I grasp at the self as existing from its own side is completely deceiving, is completely wrong, is completely mistaken. And so that mind which sees that directly is the actual Dharma. So that's the actual Dharma, actual refuge. So that's the one that actually protects us from all the sufferings. So that is to free you from the entire suffering, right? You have to have that realization, but that's very far away for us, for ordinary beings like ourselves. They're very far away to have that realization. And so, what can we have that can protect us? Is again the simple practice of virtues, practice of abandoning the 10 virtuous actions. So that can also help us to not go through a certain amount of sufferings. And so that is not the actual refuge, but that's the conventional refuge for us. So, and like in the West or nowadays, you have different means than the medicine, right? I think maybe surgery or cutting this, cutting that. You can also joining here, joining that. You can also cure some kind of diseases. But in Tibet, there's no such thing as surgery and so forth. So the only way to cure the disease is just by giving a medicine. So the actual thing that cures the disease is the medicine, not the doctor, not the nurse, but the medicine. So here, the Dharma is like the medicine. And then the third object of refuge is the Sangha, the Sangha Jua. The Sangha, is someone who assists, who assisted in your practice to develop all those realizations, to abandon the delusions and so forth. So again, there's the conventional refuge and then the ultimate refuge. So the conventional refuge can be like a number of 4 or fully ordained monks or nuns. So that's called Sangha also. And so they can help us. They can help us to do our practice and so forth. So therefore, you can call them the Sangha. And so for that reason, we can also call someone sitting next to us, listening to the teaching, who can help us to solve some of our problems, questions and so forth. And that can be also our Sangha. So someone who helps you to do your practice. So just like the nurse in the hospital who helps you to take the medicine and so forth. So like helping you to take the medicine. So just like the nurse, here Sangha helps you to do your practice, to be free from the sufferings. So the actual Sangha will be someone who have realized the emptiness directly, or who have realized that things do not exist from their own side directly. And so we recite this verse of refuge and bodhicitta all the time, and so maybe hundreds or thousands of times already. But if you don't know what are the object of refuge, what are the three jewels, then it will be shame, right? So you should make sure that you know all these things. And then the last 2 lines, the third and fourth line, which says, through the practice of giving and so forth, tends to the full enlightenment for the benefit of all. And so when you notice that those 2 lines so shows the bodhicitta. So the record is like the passport, to show whether you are Buddhist or not, and then the bodhicitta, to show whether you are a Mahayana practitioner or not. So through the merit of practicing giving and so forth, so giving is the practice of generosity and the practice of morality, patience and so forth, so all this is included and so forth. So through the merit of practicing all this, may I achieve a state of full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So whenever you do your practice, daily practice, your commitments and so forth, it's always important to do this refuge and bodhicitta at the beginning. And so, beginning with the refuge and bodhicitta, then you engage in your actual practice, and after having done the actual practice, at the end, you dedicate it for a proper reason. And then, if you do it that way, if you dedicate it properly, then or then your practice becomes proper, because you have a proper motivation at the beginning and the proper practice, actual practice in the middle, and then proper dedication or proper conclusion at the end. And so the practice that we are supposed to do, is applying whatever instructions the Buddha has given, into our practice. So if you practice, if you study here, but your mind is somewhere there, then it's not going to be very beneficial. So of course, when we're not angry, when we're in a situation that we're not angry, at that time we seem to be okay. But when we fall in a situation where we get angry and so forth, then it is very easy for us to fall into the non-virtuous actions, right?
What is
so now I think last time we discussed about the refuge, right? The marriage field, right? Where you dissolve the marriage field. And so before we do that dissolution, just like someone requested last time to read this through, so I'll read this through the lineage, the petition of the lineage prayers. So if you have the version in English, you can look through that also. So it's starting with the petition to the root guru, right?
Tenley Zambo, Dambaji Zambara, Pade Lami Jala Savade, Tibetan Studies, Tabara, Senior Surgeon, General Geshe Ngawang Tenley, Geshe Ngawang Tenley, Sebo, Sambaso, Major, Tenley, Tampe Chola, Nanga, General Jutia, Chuchi, Bombay, Jati, Zambuja Savade, Sancho, two general, Pajika, Lobby, La, Yeshua, Indian Rovan, Tempe, Chenia, Naka, Janta, La Savade, Mimia, Tesha, Los Travis, La Savana, TV, Monsu, Jampala, Janton, Keto, Maria, Market, Parani, Tampe, Niger, Tempe, and Santa Paso, Damia Lama, Samla, Savade, Sejo, Kenya, Doja, Cosmo, Java, Sava. Le Tonga da Sanji, Yeshe, Keto, Chambo, Samla, Savade, Lozan Chiji, Jansen, they are two seconds or Jantan. Lansan, Santa Lozan, Yeshe, Jeso, Lama, Samla, Savade, they answer on Champana, they are two Lozan. Yanda, Java, Janso, Tava, Yete, and Tayanga, Lama, Samla, Savade. Lozan, Yeshe, Temba, Raji, Ludu, Zambo, Roka, Nampian. Lozan, Javi, Chiso, Jean-Pierre, Matsumi, Lama, Sanla, Sova, Kazan, Namde, Shevi, Lutan, Shetu, Zana, Data, Kativanyami, Tari, Lama, Gosam, Geva, Chimbo, Sova, Matu. Dambara, Shavi, Chinguraji, Shevi, Kazan, Diji, and Messiah, Ketava, Chala, Sova. Kesama Jamani, Mali, and Diveko, Lozan, Leshe, Adunke, Samola, Sama Gente, Randava Janto, Tenjo, Lame, Jala, Sova, the Ranjo, Sodava, Kala, Tali, Marcasan, Tava, TV, Chevia, Tangi, and Zambaya, Santa, Shinia, the Sova, the Paden Lamia, Nabra Tavala, Kichu, Tomia, Lota, Majo, Gentle letter from the Mokito, Amish, and Lusanju, for shows. 다 듣는면서 저때 신바들은 맞아 인대주지 맞다치네스 인대주지 맞다치도 다 방금 우리 다 셜검색은 차상대다 지어서 고도도 맞아 그런 얘기다.
So on top of that, let's recite the foundation of all good quality. I don't know if we have text.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there.
It's on page. Yeah, please. 119. Foundation of all good qualities is kind, perfect, pure, correct devotion to Him is the root of the path. By clear seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon Him with great respect.
Time up.
이거 다 담보디고 또 소리셔다. 아니 되는데 이 세계 다 신이 되더라. 또 되게 그래서 신이랑 맡기 받아. 아니 신이 되니까 디바도 또 파이 다도 받아. 아니 야 신이랑 된대가 아니 다 같이 예를 들어 제 영화를 담는 게 그래서 또 신이 돼.
So the first verse is mainly about the good devotion. So mainly to purify the negativities of disrespecting or abusing the gurus, and also to develop all the qualities in relation to the guru.
아니 이 파티가 아니 단순히 내가 소리를 했어.
The second verse is about the perfect rebirth.
아니 somebody 처음 맡아봐서 그랬어.
The third is about death and impermanence.
아니 somebody 시와 되게 깨운 증기 다 타와된 일로 소리를 들어.
And the fourth one is about the medium sculpts wish to achieve liberation.
아니 시와 되야 다 타와를 런지는 봐. 깨운 증기 다 똑같이다 다 집안으로 돼 이거.
And the fifth one is also similar. It talks about, it explains about the medium sculpt's path. The fifth is what?
Just have fun, say some sorry.
What's 아니 스스로 와서도 뭐죠? 혼자 되라고 돈을 벌어. 무슨 좀 고치는 거.
아, 되게 다 대화 친구, 친구 방송 그래서.
So the fifth verse is just as I, yeah?
Primary 6 or
No, in English.
yeah,
Just
just
as-
following the
yeah.
Sea of Sisara.
So actually the fifth verse, it talks about the Mahayana path, right? The great skull, wishing to generate more Chiga.
아니 샘들지자 쓰는들라 고마면나 시점을 해서 돼. 소지 시다. 아니 저 자시 쇠지지 다 라마는 거 됐어 가자. 저거. 자시 쇠지지.
두번도.
어떻게
So then the sixth verse is where you imagine the nectar and light flowing from the gurus of the eccentricities.
다 로베야라 에와친다 양다도 나트리시가 덤바들어. 대가 안에 소지 시다 안에 또 사까지 지나가는 거 됐어 가자. 그래서
So in the verse 7, all the gurus in general, and especially the gurus of the profound view, imagine the nectar and light flowing from them.
아니 제와디가 투모를 있는데 제와서는 소지 시다 방벌다. 뭐 알라메지. 아니 대화라 그래. 염려 신화지지. 라마나나 안에 됐어 가자. 아니 내가 좀 나와다. 아니 이제
And in the verse 8, you visualize all the gurus in general, and especially the gurus of the instruction lineage flowing the nectar and light.
아니 그와디가 다 염려 신화지지 라마초 땅에서 마가다 먹으셔야 돼. 아니 마가 방송도 막 쓰지 마서 봐. 계시하는 봐도. 아니 된소. 하고 또 버전은 이제 제가 먼저 해서
And the ninth is to purify all those broken samayas or commitments. Because we have taken so much initiations, we have all these vows, the commitments. So to purify all the broken up all those vows or commitments.
아니 저 저와디가 다또 지대시가기. 아무도 막 지대셔. 저거나 맞대 봐라. 또 같은서 또 받으라. 또 계시들 봐야하네. 아니 다 또 있던 저 제일
And the 10th is so all four classes of tantra. Make a request to purify all those negativities created by disrespecting or by transgressing any of the four classes of tantras, and also to achieve all the realizations, the scriptural and the realized teachings of all these four classes of tantra.
아니 대다 나도 때문에 신이를 잡아서 주지 말라. 대가 소시셔다 잡을다. 아니 가로도 주종 도도라 막이 받도 봐. 막이 받 도저히 저도 듣는 저거라 빠지도 신이 아니 딱 신하가 되지도 아니 딱 빠지 공약이 아니 실제 왕적이 가리 딱 조건 나오시다 신나 지들어.
And then the verse 11 is generally all the medical, but especially the Dharmapalas, the protectors of the Dharmapalas, to get rid of all the obstacles and to provide all the favorable conditions through the actions of peaceful, wrathful, increasing, controlling, and so forth.
다 깨박한 여덟 남았어야 되겠다. 신년 때서네 다 순조그 발지 아니 남자들 다다 되니 다 제가 깨박이 다까지 다 남지 dom라고 그래서 가지.
And then it's where it says in all my life, and then that shows, then combines all the paths from the Guru devotion all the way up to the state of unification.
와다 진짜 좀 다셔다. 나도 지금 아무리 샤금도 고치려고 그래서.
So with that thought, if we can decide that, maybe that will also help it to become a glance meditation on all the lam-rim.
So we start at the beginning, page 119.
Okay.
The foundation of all good qualities is the kind, perfect, pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this free breath is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsara is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is even the Pabongka vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this trained supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta yet don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajrayana.
So like it says in this text here, right, also, it says, if you're not going to perform the separate review meditation on the lam-rim, you should recite Geshe Ngawang as the basis of all good qualities as the meditation.
Okay?
Krishna, could you please recite so we can get the lesson of the lineage?
Good quality? You guys got a lot.
Basis of good quality?
Yeah. Yes,
In the Shukyamas.
I think you guys, we got a lot, we did a lot of this.
well, maybe some people here didn't. Maybe a few people didn't listen.
Also, in the Kenji, the Moranji, the water, the Brandon, the bottom of the Kibochi, the messenger, the better, Nise ga da ni bo le be lo ji me ba she ba si lo so yo wa chi je bo je no de be chi wa ta ba no shi ye ji da da to ma je ko kan na wa de shi lo wa ne ba ra te bo ni ni de so wa ta je ta wa na bo no te so ta da de bo che ba lo ta da na de be chi lo je ye no wa du ma ke ni go de te ma lo se be ko so je ni me ya ne te be de wa la de je bo je ba si lo nam da sam ba de yo zhong wa ye chen dang shi ye ba ye chi bo de te be sa wa sa ta wa da ta ba ni chi ba ji lo Rangyo so so long chi shen do ma ja do ba ge yan da ba ta ne do de be ji be shan ta ji ba ji sem sa chi ya jang sa ma nam so la ko ma na shi ja na de le bra ne de ba ta ma yo ki ba le ba ne le bra do ne ja se do ma la so ba zo lo ba chi lo lo ye la ya ba chi ya da ba ya da ta na de ji ba shen ya long do ne de la ye de ja la sha ba shi ja lo ta ma lo ne de ji ba na ta ba ge chi de ja de ka zang chi ji ba da ba ne de la ne de ba ji ja It's a good one on the other and the Adams of the Muscle one, nobody just knows, so now the other was the anybody and never around the ship. To be on the language over a temperature of the yellow at all of the nation and all the she don't know about the Jewish or never she was yellow to the Shava coming out on one on damage. Don't change and go compound you to show. Okay. 방금 소식 보면은 단 소식 가진 너무 소식이 와서 주주매 가지고 있는 거는 신보 앞들 거 뭐를 들어와.
And so, like we discussed about the visualization of the merit field. So if you have visualized the merit field, like it is explained in the Guru Puja, when you visualize the merit field, it's good to visualize as vast as possible.
당도 대면아 안장도 여덟지마다 시작금치 와서 됐죠. 솔직히로 대전에 다들 막다 봐줘야 되더라. 손을 줘야 되더라.
So now so anyway, so if you have visualized that merit field, after this, then you sort of kind of dissolve the merit field.
뭐 다들라 아니 라마 도제장에 특가에 호전 중에 하신 아니 하신나 싸우려 저도 내가 하다 봐서 오그 장소라 전제 오마 고마란다 전데 시리 어딘지 말랑하세요.
So here it says, right, to visualize that light rays stream forth from Guru Vajradhara's heart and illuminate the other figures. Then, rather like the evaporation of condensation on a mirror, the lower figures in the merit field, that is the four Maharajas and so forth, withdraw progressively into the higher figures. This happens as far as the deity standing on the four petals of the topmost lotus.
하나도 둘이 전부는 사상 다이게 저 와서 간제 메노사다 하담나 다는 수유진이 찌그리 박는 메로로 와서 하고 와서.
If you like, if you blow your breath on the mirror, so which means rather like the evaporation of condensation on a mirror. So when you do that, if you blow your breath on the mirror, then when it comes, it disappears from the sides into the middle, right?
아니 가다 소리를 가버리는 아니 오미 잔소나라 아니 가래 빼매 동부 띵하면 여러 왔어 이제.
And so last time, we talked about visualizing the merit field, right? So merit field, is on top of this huge tree, right? And the stem of the tree is coming out, from the ocean, of milk.
아니 배자 가져나라야 아니 오미 잔소때 다 가래 동자치는 막았어요. 가져나 오미 잔소때 다 빼매 동부에 하든 빼매 동부 아니 가래 그로 산티냐스 가로 바오가로 쉬는거 어떤 찌리 강도에 안 담서 들라셔서 강이 앞에 강이 바람 죽지봐 아 동호도시 장마도 찌니 입에 전등으로.
So anyway, so some text says that you just think of the ocean of milk disappear into emptiness. Some say that dissolves into the tree, and then the tree from the stem to the leaves or the petals, and then the petals from the bottom they dissolve into the next one, the higher one, and all the way up to where the Vajradhara is. So and then so there's this the two groups of the gurus, right? The gurus of the profound view and the gurus of the extensive deeds on each side.
아니 사모타지지 아니 람타티 나도 먹고 와서 사모타지 빠지 바로 다쳐서 저도요. 잠바야 강간 잠바야 안 쓰던 거래서 사모타지.
And so the main figure of the profound view, is the Manjushri, right? So all these gurus, of the profound view dissolves into Manjushri.
아니 자체 쇼지도 아니 지도 샴발았던.
And then all the gurus, of the extensive deed, dissolves into the main guru, who's Buddha Maitreya.
아니 랍치 쇼지 다 잡으셔서 아니 자와도지 않았던 거.
And then all the consecrated practice lineage into Guru Vajradhara.
다 줄이기도지 아니 라마도 간다 아니 다 샤제디지 라마 나지고 다 자주라마 통했어.
It says all your personal gurus, from whom you have received teachings, withdraw into the figure of your root guru in his or her everyday form.
당도 다 라마감스 메와서 나면 저서.
So there are all these 5 gurus, right?
다 강가서 되는 거 같아지. 다 대가라야 다 아니 산제 무슨 자위 다 가와진 마야보 총송선 다 수수를 삼아지 가원으로 삼아지 그래서
So now you have all these five main gurus, right? And so at that time, then you have to say, how fortunate I am to have actually seen these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And so by doing that way, now you have Maitreya and Manjushri on each side of you, right? I mean, inside of the Medford, right? And so Maitreya and Manjushri then dissolves into light, and which dissolves into the main figure. And so in the other text, not in here, but in the other text, it says that these two figures, Manjushri and Maitreya, dissolves into the hand symbol. Anyway, so the flower that he's holding, the lam-rim is holding on each side, right? There's a flower, stem of flower, and the one with the anyway, so then into those two flowers each side. And then the Vajradhara goes on the top, right? Then it dissolves into lam-rim. So those Maitreya and Manjushri from each side, and then the Vajradhara from the top dissolves into the lam-rim. And so now we have only two left, right? So the Vajradhara the main figure as the wisdom being, and then the figure of your root guru in his normal aspect should not, however, dissolve into light. This would be an inauspicious gesture. So whether he is still alive or not, he dissolves into the Vajradhara and the main figure's heart. And so the way the way they dissolve is like, in the text it says that, you mix the butter with the butter. So when you mix the butter with the butter, you can't then tell which is what. So anyway, so the main guru, dissolves into Vajradhara, not into light, but into Vajradhara. Oh yeah, here it says, right? So the Vajradhara, the main figure's heart, as one would push a grain of barley into a pat of butter. So now there's only one left, right? Only some couples left. And then, so this one we already mentioned, right? So that is the wish-granting tree with the line form dissolves into the lotus base of the main figure. And so now there's only lam-rim left, so now you kind of invoke lam-rim on top of your crown. So this is the main figure, and then the main figure itself then dissolves into the light, which in turn dissolves into your guru sitting on the crown of your head. Then the lotus used by the main figures of into your guru's lotus base on your crown, and it's visualized that your root guru on your head turns into our teacher Shakyamuni. Regard him as the embodiment of all refuges, and perform for him a short 7-line prayer and word mandala offerings.
간제 만제 다 단대 지름 보치데 수수 시원라 자주네 아니 지금 단지 좀 되겠다 기고로 파절 아니 대다 수수기를 대로 상담에 다 대상제게 감내게 다 가려게 다 차상되게 되다 내가 나도 그래 내가 찾아대 되게 그래서 와
그래서 저도 되는 어디서 나도
그래도 또 어디서 되는 것이 올라마라 땀세
저도 잘못이죠.
다 올라마라 이제 또 지금이죠.
네, 저도 어디서라. 어디서는
라마 따티 그래 이제 또 마시 잡다 보면 또
아니 라마들 되는 파도 또 마셔도 봐봐 줘라.
따티 어디 또 지금 뭐제대 안 수수 라마다. 수수 라마데 다 마셔도 봐줘. 대여서 간가
어디서는 라마들.
네죠. 내가 쉬어라 이거지.
되는 거 같다. 대저로 매달 그 차네.
되네 매달 다 매달 진 되는 손도 못 먹다. 맞아. 이걸 손도 못 먹는데 손 내가 다 돼.
Then after making matter of make the fervent traditions solely to your guru.
다티 손도 다나 만들고 해서 때 돈돈에 장소에 되지 되시더라.
So now Geshe is going to recite that verse of the petition, and then after that you can recite.
이나다 매달에 제가 같이 수수 직세오지 손을 따네. 다 되게 통화돼 다 라마까지 짬내까지 가로까지 참 니들도 so 부스다 봤어.
So anyway, so this main figure now, who is your guru, he's the embodiment of all the object of refuge, like he's the embodiment of all the Buddhas, the embodiment of all the Dhammas, all the Sanghas, and so forth. So with that thought in your mind, then you recite these petitions.
바대에서 velamaram 버지가 다가 제법 만잖아. 아까도 좀 보내주는데 고성도 좀 그러면서 평소 그래 쉬고 저거 다 연도로 거기서 뭐 말이 지지되더라. 샤지에서 어디로 장들로 템바 라면서 저런 버지 저걸면 저런 버지 말하면 그런 버지 좀 컨트롤로 장들로 미셔요 저거 뭐는 도면에서 저도 저거 나중에 너무 고마워. 올라가시 콜로코바나 저게는 장저거 전부 그래 내지어는 니다 내지어를 진이 되는 진이다 뭐 저기도 라마에 되게 사람 되게 뭔가 마시냐도 또 그지가 다니올라마 라벨라 통도 제절어서 안돼요 다 치고 다니올라마라 통도 제절어서 안돼 대지하노 그거 다니올라마 라벨라 통도 제절어서 나서 저거 다니올라벨 다니올라마라 다니올라마라 통도 제절어서 안돼 아마 근데 라마라벨라 통도 제절어서 안돼 기도는 그게 라마라벨라 통도 제절어서 안돼 전지게 통도 라마라벨라 통도 제절어서 안돼 근데 게데 라마라벨라 통도에서 가지고 라마라벨라 통도에서 와데 주정들 라마라벨라 통도에서 전에 통도에서 와전에 그 라마라벨라 통도에서잖아 소와데 야 다저도 진짜하실 텐데.
So anyway, make the petition as you will to the embodiment of the three jewels of all refuges. The following verses are taken from miraculous book of the Gelugpas. So they are especially blessed. So let's recite that one here. May my most divine Guru, Lord, before Christ, in the petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of Dhammakaya, in the petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of blissful Sambhagakaya, make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of sundry Namanakayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Gurus, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all deities, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Buddhas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Dharma, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Sangha, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Tapas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Dhammapalas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all refuge, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
Okay. That is a language. That's your song to us in the book.
So, like it says, it has very special blessings.
Put so this and that, to Java, Damchoe, which I got it to Samba Dicho.
Got it?
Put so the what they want to know. And then I know what meta was in it. So on the produce to Java.
So it says the fervent petition, not just petition, but fervent petitions. So that's like, not just saying once, maybe like many times, pushing.
That's what you send that current teacher or
So anyway, your mind has to be more familiar with that.
what is it? That must be more can do. 다른도 대비에 가래 수수 동호도 가래 동호도 나가서 수수 쉐도라 와서 수수 쉐도라 삼도 다네 세우면 양주 면답이 소왔다 양내를 좀 양내를 좀 당을 해서
you have to now visualize your guru in the form of the Shakyamuni, right? So you have to visualize, you have to try to have that clear visualization. If you lose that visualization, then you re-visualize it again and then make mantra offerings.
다들 다 맞으시면 그래 다들 아니 소소로 인가야 소소 니들야 가야 로네야 다 매도 빼면 답지 상고해서 대판적으로 시작할 거죠.
So now this also now dissolved into you. The main guru, who is in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni, also dissolved into you. So enters into you through your center channel, into your from your crown hole in the center channel, the crown hole, through the center channel comes to your heart. So your heart, which is just a shape like this, just hanging like this, right? The heart has like this, the shape heart, and now you imagine, visualize the heart like this, and now it opens, with all these 8 petals, split into 8. And then it opens like a 8-petaled lotus. This is your heart. 8-petaled lotus.
이 친구들 다 소소 담보 깨니까 딱 미시비 틀에 팔에서 가보다 말해서 보험 한번 먹으니 다 되나 요에 다요 대 빼대 빼마다 님에 대해 봐서도 다 그래서
더 되는
대고 빼대 가시 디나다 가가면
더 님은
다 님이야 다 되지.
And so inside the heart, that's what we say is called indestructible drops. So that came from our parents. So the white and the red drop. So there's this indestructible drop inside our heart, and so that forms as a moon and sun disk.
다 대나라 현대 저기 류선 류다 샘 류득심의 샘 샘득심의 류니 다 대야 레네 다 단다 산지 좀 되게 그때 마셔는 되게 레지지지 딜르디 아니 다 소소 짜이라면 뭐야 야 예고를 룡데 감감만 저기 디나라야 아니 신들 룡다 샘 참고요지 근데 룡디 산지 좀 되게 그 마셔고 되게 레지지지네 아니 룡데 산지 딱 끼고 아니 샘데 아니 말 소소 다 라메그 소소 라마야 이제는 보시 아니 빙어죠. 아니 샘데 다 그래. 그래서 나만 지금 지금 다 이 두근거리고 다 상당해서.
And so now inside the indestructible drops, so there's an indestructible drop, the red one and the white one, close like this. And so inside the indestructible drop there is our mind, the mind and the wind. The mind that mounts on the wind. So the wind is always accompanied by this, the mind is always accompanied by this wind. It says the mind moves by mounting on that wind. So there's a mind and the wind, the subtle, extremely subtle mind and the extremely subtle wind inside that indestructible drop. And so your main guru, who is in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni, as he descends from your crown into your heart. So now this mind, the extremely subtle wind, turns or transforms into the body of your guru. So now the guru, is in the Buddha Shakyamuni form, and into his guru, and into the guru's body, and then your mind transforms into the holy mind of your guru, or Buddha Shakyamuni's mind, Buddha Shakyamuni's mind, or your guru's mind.
And the Shumata Sanjay Goda, Sonigata, Data, Sanjay Godo, Sony Moya, General, and Sanjay Samana. There are good to suggest. Sanjay Samana, they, then Yenachita, Sanjay Mochelo as well. There are good to suggest.
So caused by, or conditioned, or caused by that descending, the mind becomes, your wind becomes the body, holy body of your guru, and the mind becomes the holy mind of the guru. So anyway, so later, when we get enlightenment, it is that these two, the extremely subtle mind, the extremely subtle wind, that transforms into the holy mind and the holy body of the Buddha.
And the Tanazo goes on too. That's all over what the good to not just on what that's all over what's on.
So now we have this, the body and the mind, right? So we need the speech also, right? The holy speech of the Buddha.
And the Tanazo, Mishibi Tele Tower Dinner, I was so done. So that I am a chief. Young Sunjim, I was the new one, but I was the
So inside that indestructible drop, there is the syllable, A, like the syllable A, which symbolizes the consonants. So when that meets with the condition, then there comes the speech. And so that, so now that body and mind of the Buddha, or the one's guru, right? Once the extremely subtle mind or subtle wind transform into the holy body, the holy mind of the Buddha. So that is surrounded by these consonants, the vowels and consonants. So this syllable, the syllable A, yeah. And so that is symbolizing, that symbolizes the three holy speech and mind.
That's really a touchy sort of Tavilama, Lamika, Kosukaji, Tavilama, Susan, Taka, Tende, was your other. Should there was. They should have attacked Kadim by the Suzuki, Shalachi or Kadisamachi, Tavilama, and a pre or something like that. Touching the Aisida. I saw Alicasida, Alicasida, the Corsamado. Never get children. What is shows? That take that Nalakaji, that's only
so then it opens, the lotus opens, then the guru dissolves into it, and then all this happens inside that, right? Just as explained. And then as the guru, then the heart closes, and then this the vowels and consonants, they tie, right? Sort of tie the heart and makes that guru remain there all the time. So you're holding the guru there inside your heart all the time.
They chain Suzy Sharaka, couple of teaching of Chopina, and the Suzu Topiagi.
So then you all the time you think of your guru there, and then even at the time when you're eating or drinking, then you're eating, you think of the guru in your heart and think that you're making offering to your guru at your heart. And drinking, think making offering to your guru at your heart. So that way you accumulate merit all the time. So it's not clear in this, it's not detailed in this text here, but I received this teaching from Geshe Ngawang Tenley, the former abbot of Seoje Monastery. And so I received this transmission from Geshe Ngawang Tenley, or this and the Joshua, the preparatory rites.
소시 디사 탕 디사 이 얼마다 자지 단만도 간지 납돼야 되까지 너무도 간간 정보를 가지고 오늘 오래지.
So that's how you dissolve it on the married food. You have already visualized the married food. Then after that, now you do your practice, and it just explains how you do, what you think, and so forth. When you do the different topics, the practice on different topics.
근데 지금 somlo 따도 되세요. 나는 소시 차상상도 나요지. 되면은 너무 통도 지죠. 소소자 라마 채널 거는 지구당도 안 되게 되죠.
So if you have time and can manage, then it will be good to visualize the whole married field. But if not, then you can just visualize one single figure of Buddha Shakyamuni, and think of him as your guru, as the Dharma, the Sangha, the deities, Dhammapalas, and so forth.
다 틀린 소시 대사다.
So we have dissolved the married field now.
다티 오늘 밑에 로마라킹 가지고 공부를 공당 간절했을 때 밑에 거 내가 어떻게
그래서
대원은 밑에 계산 내가 가지고 직접 가지고 있었는데 아니 양주 또 마트를 가지고 양주 내가 양주 좀 재워서 아니 특수 가지고 그러더라고. 그지 당연히 라마라 파워 라마 시리즈로 써야 돼서 양주 이제 진보다 아주 샤바도 이제 제약이 지금 되면은 파워 시리즈로 삼다. 손들었어. 이제 특가리는 집발가 하는 거 당연히 눌러서야 되겠어 이제. 근데 얼마다 공부 그랬어. 공부해야 돼. 간지 맞다. 공부까지 할 까지. 로 야네 something 야네 공부를 봤어.
So anyway, so after it doesn't have much explanation on that. So when you make this fervent petition to your guru, it always says, my most divine guru, Lord of the four kayas, I make a petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. I make a petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, and all that about Shakyamuni Vajradhara. So it says that here is during the mind training practice, when you are training yourself in meditation on the equality and ascending of self and others, since I Avalokiteshvara is supreme deity of compassion, you should change these verses to the following. So my most divine guru, Lord of the four kayas, I make petition to you, Guru Avalokiteshvara. Instead of saying, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, you say, I make petition to you, Guru Avalokiteshvara. And then also do the same with the meditation, when you meditate on the view. So I think some of these are added in English translation, so it's more clear there. And because mine doesn't have that, that's why I have to carry two books here.
가지 텔마다 대원 맞다 제공은 조금 가지 공자한테 가려 공부잖아. 저와 맞다고 레전드 다니는 것도 조금 보고 그래서 내가 자체가 공부도 공대가 말 쏘도 왔어. 어도 했더니 다 들어온
So usually, when we meditate on, we should meditate on the property of death and impermanence and so forth. We should not meditate on the delusions like anger, attachment, and so forth. So that's about it. Keep on reading, and the more you read, the more clear it will become to you. Since I'm not also very familiar with meditation myself, I cannot explain to you how to meditate. So if you're interested, then you should read these books or text again and again and again. And so next time we'll start from the day 7. So I don't know about you, but I'm very fortunate myself to have this opportunity to say a few words to you because I have to explain, so therefore I have to read also. So that gave me a chance to understand more about these teachings.
아니 지금 다 신하고 전하고 봐지 다른데 맞지 내가 기체라 살아데 수도 일들이 시험도 먹고 쉬어리 나는 남들로 지금 이제 된다 비슷하게 나 간줄 남았어요 다 저도 이제 이놈이 거기 예 쉬어있어
and then so I think anyway in a sort of a stream of blessing that can be passed down to you through me, not from me but through me. And I have received this teaching from Geshe also, and also and the whole the teaching from here and there, bits of here and there from Geshe and the whole teaching from Geshe teacher, who is the former abbot of Serajia Monastery, and who many of you might have seen because he has been here also once. And so anyway, so I received the whole teaching from Kajiwa Khenso Rinpoche, or the former abbot of Serajia Monastery. So I'm just passing down this blessing from them.
아니 딱 마시라 가고 싶은 들어
So I'm very happy.
아니 딱 전화서 가서 뭐 싫어를 했지 저는 나도 지금 산에 내리질래야 대체 내리질래 나도 지금 딱 남의 주로는 잘 고가정도 하고 싫어래.
And also you're very fortunate to have this opportunity to study about Buddhism in a place like this, at a time like this.
아니 근데 영화 된 것도 지금 뭐 깔래져 루치 관계 내가 녀도 제발 때는 것도 대셔를 했어.
So having this opportunity to study about this Dharma became available because of many people coming together, working hard together.
If they are teacher, if they are not students, they are not work. If they are teacher and or student both, they are not translator, then they are not. If they are teacher, translator, teacher, all that, we have no place, then we have to go somewhere. Right? Today, by that, not only me momboshik. 아니 갈래 빠데면 받잖니. 빠데는 건데 사태를 만들고 야고도 청을 했죠.
And so having this conducive condition for us to practice Dharma, like the place, the teacher, and everything, is because of many people working hard together.
아니 내가 다 다시 개투 다시 개종도 다시 왠지 이다래죠.
So I think the most the senior student here is Wendy.
근데 이제 가지는 그런 금방금방 로셔 주마주마 가리가 된다. 아니 내가 나도 펜도 한번 연구해서 봐.
So anyway, so the people will come and go, live and die, and so the next generation, next people, and the people who come in the future, it will be very beneficial for them.
근데 저 당본데 다 남아이시기 고치. 근데 남아서 그런 것이 공부 못 보죠. 아니 저도 개투 마보기 깔래 못 전에 타면서 디지털 기지라 편에 너무 깔래 되는 것으로 그렇게 말했죠.
And so first, Geshe Ngawang Tenley started these centers, and then Ngawang Rinpoche who established the Kurukulla Center later, and then invited Geshes like Geshe and many other Geshes. So with all these people working hard together, we are able to have this center now.
다 산에데 실력치 뭐 싫어요. 산에 실력치 뭐 싫어 찾아죠.
And so through these hard works of many great beings, and then also through their presence, this place has become very blessed place now.
아니 미망고 아니 대회라고도 취재라고 공부 나 레바이나 셈바 코나지 무세 가이 용 차고도 나고도 지나버려 봤어.
And so I heard comments from people from the Western as well as from Tibetans saying that the moment they come into this gompa or the temple, they feel very peaceful. So that shows the blessings.
얘는 내가 blessing 산에 된 것도 투대야돼. 다 좋잖아 가려져. 내가 정했어. 내가 정해도 다 개투수 가려져.
And so having this kind of blessed place is through the kindness of you people, through the students, the supporters, and so forth.
아니 저한테 민마네 집 깔래 뭐 잡는 관계 스포츠니 하는데 저다 마음 발아야. 그래서 내가지네 잡히지는 그래서 셀레트니 잡히지는 가리 돈은 다 잡혀 만나서 나로 나와서 나를 대자자 지대 나로 나와.
probably begrudge the kitchen program.
How you push them? You push them to that.
You know how to reset that?
No. On the right side.
Oh, on the handle?
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, that will happen.
Suffering of change. Suffering of change.
How?
Pleasurable. Stuff.
So anyway, so this place came together because of your hard work, support, and so forth. So you have been supporting, and and so please continue to do that in whatever way you can. Through walking, through doing some, physical work at the center, or by contributing money or advice and whatever in a way you can contribute. Please continue to do that. That's how we thrive this place. And I have confidence that you will all do this. And so this center doesn't belong to one person, it belongs to all of us. So it's students in the center. So this is not only ourselves, only people here, but many sentient beings, and benefits many sentient beings. So the most senior student mentioned Wendy is now we have the teacher Nick,
So now he's
who
the
just
most
came
senior.
into.
Lam-rim.
So we have worked very hard, together to make this place sustain and so forth, and also now I make a request again, to continue to do that hard work. Because it will be beneficial for many people, many sentient beings in the future. So I'm taking off for 2 months. So now a teacher Nick will be teaching on my in absence, and he has a great knowledge and experience, much more than what I have. But it's just I'm taking over because I'm wearing robes. And so you're going to get a real teaching from real experienced teacher. So it will be very beneficial, so if you can all come to his teachings. And Anna Rubina is going to come. She's very good. I don't have to say that, right? And also our other member, Sean, teaches on Mondays. That's very good too, right? And so if you want to have exercise, the physical exercise and mental meditation, then you will have Wendy teaching yoga on Tuesdays. So we have everything. We have a place, we have teachers. So we are very fortunate, right? So one of the purpose of my going to India is to do puja for Geshe-la's 1 year, passing away of 1 year.
내가 계속 강간 좋아해들 맞추고 나도 관계가 다 가리 지금에서 맞추고 말했어.
So it's not only me, but all of us who have connection with Geshe-la.
아니 딱히 제안으로 담봉에 빠세라 지가 빠지 잡아. 대단 좋게 저도 빠지 잡아 빠지. something she don't know about that and raja time tikole sanction of the
so during this time there's the three great monasteries, the Sierra de Bongan and the monks from all these the three great monasteries once a year for a certain amount of time, like a month, they come together to debate with each other. And so this time is happening in Sierra. So there are more monks now at this time in Sierra Monastery, maybe 4,000 or close to 5,000 monks in ceremonies. So we're going to make offering to all of these monks, maybe tea and bread and so forth, and they will all be reciting King of Sutra, King of Prayer Sutra.
And then
after that, then I come down to my house. So the I is there now. My house, to your house. And so I'm going to make offerings to the monks of your house.
Then more I have to, my house to. This is the house to the Pajige.
And then after that, down to the room, the house from the room. So there is a number of monks sharing a room and eating, living together. And so then I'm going to make offering, to the monks in that room. And so there are not one room now. They have different rooms, separate rooms, but one big house, separate rooms. So there are about 100 geshes. I'm going to make offering to them, and we all together do a Guru Puja. And so it is not only me doing this, making offering. We're all making offering together because many of you have made a contribution towards that offering. So here also, I think some of you have made a plan to do self-initiation of Vajrayogini, and maybe some of you will be reciting Golden Night Sutra and so forth. So the day we're going to be doing here the puja, is maybe 1 or 2 days before that, but it doesn't matter. So the time doesn't matter so much. What is most important is doing the prayers and pujas. So this is mainly to benefit ourselves, to accumulate merit and to purify the negativities. How much it helps the one who has passed away is a big question mark. But anyway, it definitely helps ourselves who do these pujas. So we should all be involved in these pujas. And so now we're going to dedicate all the virtues that we have accumulated by teaching, listening to the teachings on Wednesdays and Sundays throughout the year, and for also many years that we're going to have all these teachings on those days. And so generally, you should dedicate all this merit, for the teachings, to survive, to live, to spread, and for sentient beings, to achieve, to be happy.
Pabongka Rinpoche. 아니 딱 공부지 그래. 고려는 전에 벽대를 단단한 그수시가 되고 있는 담블링으로 생체는 패도 공기 딱 그수 유지도 좀 돈을 이제 봐 생각하네. 되게 된다고 얘기하기.
And also for the holy beings to have long life, the holy beings and the teachers who are teaching the true path to have long lives. So in general, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is the head of the Tibetan Buddhism, and for him, and especially for us, the FPMT, our head of the FPMT, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who is working very, very hard all the time for the benefit of sentient beings. And even at this time when he is not very well, stricken by some kind of disease, but still he's working very hard, although despite the sickness and so forth. So dedicated for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, especially to be free from all these diseases, illnesses, and to accomplish all his holy wishes.
Then, thank you very much. Then, Nanzo Piki Chega Chudo de Tusena Chimena Susanari Nata, Gawa, and to Jithan of Johnson, Jithan of Johnson.
So that's about it. And then, like I said, if you have the time to come here and do the puja, you can do it. If not, you can do it yourself. If not, then just rejoice. Rejoice as other people. Rejoice at other people who are doing it. And you also can do it by doing that. So do that.
Then, thank you everybody. I would like to say thank you for Damchoe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Even I'm here, if he's not here, I cannot do anything. He's just not only translator, he has very strong, now maybe have to say, devotion to our center, He always thinks centers for us, He do everything, busy.
Laid on the altar.
Yeah, we have nothing he do. Some unknown translators that they just translate, they don't think they're not inside their center. Then when they got the papers, then they're on here. That's not right.
Yeah.
He's not that. He's for 100% of center. He always do whatever we need. He asks her to be just do Damchoe that. No say, don't Damchoe that. He can't do it. Anyway, of course, everything for his resource, I would like to say thank you very much for him. Also, we dedicate for him, his family, his son, a very successful life, good health, And I would say, for all students say, thank you very much. And we see you in 2 months.
End of January?
Yeah, end of January.
Till
Okay?
February.
Yeah,
January.
Okay?
Thank you, Geshe.
So, we do formal dedication prayers, beginning on page, what is it, 39? 39. Page 39.